Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy. This is Noel.
Hello.
And welcome to our channel. Okay everybody, so today, I made a little community tab post and asked y'all what kinds of questions you want to know about Noel and I and our relationship, because we live together now after 3 years of being together. So here we are. Before we jump into that though, Judy has a lot of thoughts, and so we need to, as always, check in with her. So Judy, what's up?
I love beans almost as much as I love my dads.
Okay. Alright. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. If y'all don't follow me on the Twitter, really the Twitter, but any of my social media, but particularly the Twitter, this past weekend, I have just been very stressed and pressed because technology has failed me. This is actually the second time I'm filming this video. I filmed a whole other video that I lost. I had another video that was on the SD card that I lost. Turns out maybe it's just like not the actual SD card. Listen, I don't know. Thank Goddess for my dear, loving, supportive, helpful, kind, patient, understanding partner, Noel. Guys, he's just like, it's gonna be okay, Zach. It's gonna be okay. Oh, my little, the boob was showing. Oh. Thank God for him, because he said, we'll figure out what's wrong, we'll get it together, we'll refilm, it'll be okay, it'll be fine. Yeah. I let Noel pick questions from all the questions on that community post. So if your questions aren't asked here, it's Noel's fault.
Oh.
so it's his fault. Just kidding. I mean, there were a lot of questions and he only picked like 10 to 15.
A lot of them were similar though.
And a lot were similar.
Yeah, a lot of similar ones.
We've also answered questions before in a video, and we've done some other videos, but it's really probably been like, at a minimum, at least a year, probably more than a year, because I feel like the last time you filmed anything with me formally was at my old apartment. Yeah. He was like in the background for a video where I made some cookies once, but like that video wasn't really about him. I'll link those down below so you can go watch them and just in case we answered your question in a previous video or something like that. But let's just get into it. So the first question is, who made the first move on who, and how did y'all meet?
Well, I know who made the first move.
Okay.
Yeah, it was you. It was you.
But how?
How? Oh yeah. That's right.
I mean, we met on the Tinderella.
Yeah, we met on Tinder. I thought he was really cute. Yeah. And you messaged me first, and you were like, "What's up?"
Well, yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's what I learned about the Tinder. When I was on the Tinder, I don't know how it is now. Well, first of all, I feel like we should make it clear that, like, at least in my opinion, gay Tinder is different than the straight Tinder. Yeah. Because I feel like straight people use, I mean, I've said this before, I swear, on this channel, but I feel like straight people use Tinder as like a hookup app, but we already got the Grinder, we got the Scruff, we got the Growler, the whoever, the whatever. Yeah. You know, you're like, I don't know what those things are. No. So we don't need Tinder to hook up. We wanted Tinder because we were looking. Well, I was
for marriage.
I was looking for love. Oh. But whenever I was on there, like, guys never. Oh no, I lost the back of this earring. But when I was on there, like, a lot of guys would just like say nothing. And I'm like, well, we both swiped, so we're both clearly somewhat interested. So why are y'all not saying anything?
Yeah, I just thought you were really cute, and I was glad.
So why didn't you
like, hey, what's up?
So why didn't you say anything?
Oh, I don't know. I probably was just like whoop whoop or whatever swiping. I don't know anymore.
I also like. I feel like some people think like, "Hey, what's up?" is like a lame way to greet somebody on the Tinder, but
I mean, like, look at us now.
Right, and I'm also like not gonna go. What was I gonna? I mean, you had these artsy fartsy, like
I know, I hate it.
pictures. It was like literally him on a cliff, like taking a photo.
In the UK.
Oh, in the UK.
Yes.
She's an Anglophile.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like it was efficient. It did the job. We
It
talked.
did the job. We talked. I definitely pretended to know which YouTubers you were talking about.
Right. Yeah. Our whole relationship is founded on a lie.
It's not a lie.
He full on said, "Hey, oh my god, I watched so much Amberlynn. I watched so much Amy."
Wait,
Fletcher."
okay, I didn't say that. I think I was just like, oh yeah, I know who they are, and I like quickly like Googled them.
He did.
But
He did.
I was vaguely familiar with Amy Slater for whatever reason.
I don't. What do you know about her?
I don't know. It's not that I knew something about her. It's that like I was like familiar with who she was.
What's it like to know that our whole relationship was founded on a lie?
I feel nothing. Because obviously we're still here.
Yeah, no, I don't think either of us really. That's like the only lie that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've talked about it many times since then. So
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
What is your favorite meal to share, and what's your favorite thing to cook for each other?
Well, I feel like our go-to, like, especially when we order out, our go-to meal is tofu patsu.
Yes.
Which, now that I think about it, like, I know how to make that. Like, and
Right.
I've never made it.
Right. So let's do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I've
think
like made it well, so yeah.
I think we in general enjoy food. We have things that we know we enjoy together. So like
Yeah.
we enjoy Thai, particularly tofu
yeah.
patsu.
Yeah.
We love going to Korean barbecue. We like getting
pho.
pho.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, ooh, we just want a burger. We just want pizza. And then when it
Yeah.
comes to like cooking for each other,
Yeah, wait, is that the question?
yeah, that's the
Like,
second
anything
question.
to cook for each other? Oh, well, I know what I like you to cook for me. Tried and true thing that I trust Zach with is what we call the shmami, which is short for schmomelet, which is slang for omelet. It's a lot. It's dumb.
Right, yeah. I don't know. There's
There's
literally...
nothing special about it, really.
I don't cook a lot, first of all. Like, I mean, when I
You do
cook,
cook
it's
a lot,
like
though.
the most basic thing. Like, I'll prep like a bunch of boring ass chicken breast and veggies. Like, I love to roast a veggie and have a protein and call it a day. And I wouldn't say like any of that's anything special. But I do, literally the one thing that I feel like I can do well is breakfast. Like,
Yeah,
I can cook you a schmomelet,
yeah.
I can cook you some
Yeah.
over easy eggs, I can cook you some scrambled eggs.
Yeah, I mean, even a common meal that we make on the weekends typically, like Saturday, like I usually like make some garlic fried rice, make some eggs, like over easy eggs, spam and or bacon, like a salty meat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, that's what we mostly make for each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. Breakfast.
Breakfast. You can't go wrong.
No, you really can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And coffee.
Oh yeah, coffee. Yeah.
Noel's very serious about his
Yeah.
his pour over coffee.
Yeah,
Is that what
I
it
love
is?
it.
Is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I started doing it in quarantine.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively new endeavor.
It's
but
fancy.
It's very therapeutic. I love doing it.
What is your ideal date night, and what is your ideal travel destination?
Well, pre-quarantine, I would say our ideal date night, definitely going to see like a theater show.
Yeah,
So,
we love the theater.
Love the theater.
The theater.
Yes, yeah.
The theater.
Yeah, I will, without putting my job on blast, I do basically, we watch like, we would watch like a theater show like almost at least once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really miss it,
Uh-huh.
honestly.
No, me too.
Like, even if we went and saw, like, bad shows, like, there's just something about being in the theater, seeing a live performance.
Right, yeah. Even if it, like, wasn't, super great, it was still, like, a really great experience,
Yeah.
if anything. Yeah, I love going.
I really miss it.
Yeah.
I think one of our ideal travel destinations is related to that, because we've been talking for a while now about making a trip to New York City to go see some Broadway.
Yes.
Especially, like, I think we were really excited about the season that was happening, like, right before the pandemic hit, because there was Six.
We were gonna see Six, and, like, Broadway closed down literally then, like, the opening night of 6, and opening night for 6 never happened.
Right, and I wanted to see Jagged Little Pill, and there was just so much we wanted to do. Yeah. But I don't know. Is there anywhere else you would like to visit?
Ideally, in an ideal world, even without the pandemic, the Philippines is a place that I've wanted to bring you. Not even bring you, but go on my own. I've only gone with family. And I wanted to go as just a traveler, but it's a whole separate conversation. Not a super ideal place to go and or be right now, especially when you have 2 gay men here. So who are, Right. We're not huge fan. Well, I'm not a huge fan of the administration, but I'm gonna guess that Zach wouldn't be either. So,
No,
yeah,
not.
So
absolutely.
Yeah,
correct. What is something that you really appreciate about the other person? What are your favorite things about them?
Feel free to lay it on me.
My fave thing about Noel, well, not my favorite thing. I like a lot of things about him, so saying my favorite thing is a lot. But one of the things I appreciate the most about him recently is that him moving in, he's brought so much organization and peace to our living environment in terms of that is not my strength. My strength is not, I'm not a dirty person. I'm not a filthy person, but I am a scattered, disorganized person. And so I have mess in my apartment like that. And he has just made our space even more efficient, and he helps out with a lot of the things that I'm not great at doing. Well, not great at doing to the extent that he'd probably like me to do it, right? And so, so I think even if he wasn't doing some things, I think the way that he's even just set up our kitchen space makes it much more intuitive when you go to put things away and get things out so you can cook a meal. It makes a lot more sense than how I had things set up. So I really appreciate that because it's just not a skill I had. Actually, my mom used to, the one time she met Noel, made this joke about how are you sure you want to live with him someday? He's such a mess. And I was first of all, rude, Mom. And second of all, I'm not messy, that bad. Noel has been over to my apartment.
Yeah.
But a clean, organized space is something he values, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. I grew up in a really chaotic, also questionably organized, scattered home. And one of the things that I did when I started not living with my parents is I really valued and appreciated making use of my space wherever I was living, kind of breaking the cycle of how my family just kind of hoard stuff. So I really value just being able. I mean, we're paying so much money for rent, we might as well use every single square foot of to utilize the space that we live in. So,
yes, mood. What do you appreciate about me? What is your favorite thing about me?
Well, I may be organized spatially, but I'm usually not organized. I would say it's difficult for me to organize here in this here brain, thanks to anxiety. And usually I'm very scatterbrained, and Zach's really patient with me, and I've never felt. I think one thing I appreciate about you is I've never, ever felt pressured by you, in any way. And that's just, the best thing. I felt pressured all my life by everything around me, and I never feel pressured by you or pressed. Yeah. It's just, so supportive. Oh my God, are you crying?
No. I really am not. No. But I appreciate...
we are on television. Well, YouTube.
I was just going to say, I appreciate you.
Oh.
That's very kind. Very nice of you to say. Oh, so this goes maybe a little bit what we just talked about, but who is more organized and who's more spontaneous? Who is more likely to get excitable about anything? So that's the thing, is organized is a weird word because I think in different ways we're organized.
It depends on what you mean.
I fucking love I shouldn't have cussed, but that's whatever. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. But I love a plan. And it helps me manage my own anxiety when I wake up every day and I'm here's like my course of action for the day. Here are the things I want to accomplish. We need to get it going. We need to get it popping. I need to get these things done.
Yeah.
And that's not Noel. Like Noel is very much like go with the flow. Like he might have some idea of like what he might want to accomplish.
Yeah, I have like bullet points, but they're not like in any order.
Right. Like literally yesterday we started our day and I was like, all right, here's my plan. I'm gonna take Judy out. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna cook my lunch. We're gonna film this video. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And he's like,
yeah, literally the one day this week you were like, okay, here's my plan. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm like, the fuck? What?
it's just like, I have to like, if I
didn't tell me.
If I don't get it out, is the other thing. So like, what I really probably should do is just write this down somewhere. But like, I'm also the kind of person, if I keep everything up in my head, like it's gonna drive me nuts. And so I'm very much a verbal processor. I need to write it down. Yeah. So in that way, I'm a little bit more organized.
And he like sticks to it too.
I do.
Like religiously. Like, and if we veer from the plan, like he will have words with me.
It is.
See,
hard.
I'm also like that too. Where when you were like, oh, I'm verbal, like I need to get it out. I'm the same way, but I vocalize it the moment it it enters my brain. So like Zach will wake up at like 8 a.m. He's like, I'm gonna do this, and that. And I'm like, great, I have an idea of what I want to do, but I like won't say it. And then like something I feel like I say a lot to you is like, I'm gonna say this now because I know I'm gonna forget about it. And it'll happen at like 1 a.m. in the morning when we're like in bed. I'm like, we'll go to bed. I'll be like, hey, remind me to vacuum the back corner of our closet.
And this also like is frustrating because when you got a plan and out of nowhere, homeboy's like, hey, can we take a look at sheets to buy for our bed because like I've really just been thinking about it and we just need to do it right now. And I'm like, you've been thinking about this. I have not. Right now, what I'm thinking about is this TV show I'm watching, and you just interrupted me in the middle of this TV show, which is where my brain was planned to be for the next 45 minutes. Right. And you said, "Let's talk about these bed sheets."
Yeah.
What?
Not that I'm not working on it, but it is how my brain has worked uninterrupted for a majority of my life.
Yeah.
So,
and then I think
there was a time where I used to write things down, but especially right now in the pandemic, I'm like, you know,
a notepad's not outside, Beebs. You could write it down inside.
I guess so. Yeah, I could. Okay.
When it comes to excitable, I think we both get excited about different things, probably silly things. Like Noel was so excited yesterday about his vacuum getting delivered, and he was so damn excited. He has vacuumed multiple times in the past 48 hours.
I'm just making sure it works. Also, our rug is...
He's just like, we gotta get this vacuumed.
Yeah. I like a clean space.
Great.
Don't you feel like our home is clean?
I love it. I'm not mad. It's great.
Like there's not dust on our feet anymore.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Next question. Who sleeps on what side of the bed, and what annoys you about each other's sleeping habits?
Okay, for lack of a better example, because I don't know how else to explain this, but imagine, okay, let us set the scene. We're in a horror movie, okay? This will make sense, trust me. And imagine you're like a demon floating over our bed. So that's how you're facing the bed. I'm on the left side, Zach's on the right side. Yeah.
Why are there fucking demons over our bed?
No, because I didn't know oh, do you look at like the top of our bed?
Why would we do not need to be putting demons in our bedroom.
There are no dreams in the bedroom. That was just an example.
I know, but I feel like we're putting it out there.
That's okay.
Okay, so what annoys you about my sleeping habits?
Kind of nothing, to be honest.
You know what? When we recorded this the first time, you said that, and I've had time to think about it since then, and I'm convinced that there are things that you're like.
No, really. I was talking about the sheets. I was not talking about you.
We literally just
And you know what? When I talked about the sheets, I fucking knew you would bring this up. God. Because I was just like, he's going to use this against me during this question. But it's really still not about you. It's about the sheets.
Okay. Well, also,
Yeah,
the other thing I was thinking of, you literally sent me that meme yesterday. It was like the guy that was saying like, oh, I want to wake up in bed next to you every morning. And the other person was like, well, I wake up at 5 a.m. And then the guy says, I want to go to sleep with you every night. And it's like, I was like, well, you might be a little annoyed that I wake up early.
No, actually, I love that you wake up early. There's nothing better than you getting out of bed knowing that I'm like, oh my god, it's probably like fucking 6 a.m. right now.
It's not ever 6 a.m.
It's
though.
probably 7 o'clock right now. I'm exaggerating, but actually it's a great feeling, you getting out of bed earlier than me, because that means I have another hour or two to sleep.
Wow.
It's also like, haha, I won. Like, I'm sleeping in. Tough luck. How's that schedule?
No, I like the time I wake up because I like to have some time in the morning to myself to get my mind right for the day. I gotta do all that planning.
An extra 10 minutes, aka
a whole
2
hour,
hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the only thing that might annoy me, and it's really not something that annoys me about your sleeping habits, is your snoring. But like, I typically fall asleep before you do, so I don't necessarily hear your snoring. It's only if I somehow don't fall asleep first, or if I wake up in the middle of the night and then it's like there's no going back, because it is a lot. But
well, I'm glad it doesn't bother you.
Yeah, it's not like you wake me up from your snoring.
Okay.
As long as I'm
that
sleeping.
really freaked me out. Like, when we started sleeping in the same bed, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, because my allergies. In fact, my allergies are bad today. Like they've been bad. Like,
you
the
said
past few
today.
days.
It's
I know. I'm in denial. Okay.
Okay. Next question. Who was the first person to say I love you? It was.
You can tell this story.
It was Noel. I have this friend.
Was it me? Oh yeah, it was.
It was. No, it was. I have a friend that's now like a mutual friend, but at the time, like, Noel didn't know her super well. She's quality.
Yeah, quality.
Janine.
The best.
You know who you are, Janine.
Yeah. She knows who she is.
For her birthday, every year since then, honestly, we've gone to a Cuban restaurant here in Chicago, and we were there, and there were lots of people there. Like, she had a lot of friends. It wasn't just like me, and I'd only been dating Noel for like officially for like maybe 3 months, and he was sitting across from me, and somehow the critically acclaimed hit classic "I Love You So Much" by one poet, DJ Khaled, Noel started singing the song, and he was like, when I love you so much, like when he was singing the words I love you so much, he was looking me dead ass in the eyes,
Not
like
one of my finest moments,
locking in. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, is this happening?
Yeah, and I wasn't even processing. I'm like, why is he looking at me funny? Because I'm just singing a song that I like. Yeah.
So, whatever, we don't talk about it then, because obviously we're at a whole ass table of people. And so we went out dancing with said group of people, and then afterwards we were waiting for a lift. And I was just like,
but do you?
But do you? But do you?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, pretty much I do. I do.
I love you.
I love you. Wow. Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah, I probably loved him before that moment. We just had never said it, so yeah.
The next question is, will you two get married and have a family? No.
No.
No. Well, I mean, like, subjectively, like,
Right.
what is a family? Like, I would say...
It depends on what you mean on this question.
Like, I would say 2 people and their dog could be a family. So, like, in that sense, yes, we have a family.
Yeah,
Here we are. We have
yeah.
a lot of, like, chosen family and friends that we care about. Like, in that way. Like, in the sense of, like, are we going to adopt or have any kind of children, period?
Probably not.
No? Mm-mm. Like, I would say the only way that would ever be a thing is if, like, somehow, like, my brother and sister-in-law, like,
Yeah.
passed away and, like,
Right.
nobody could take in my nephews and I would do that for them.
Yeah.
But that would be, like, the extent of what I would say.
Would we willingly have children in any capacity? Probably not.
Right.
No.
Right. Because that's, like, a
Most
choice.
Yeah.
That's, like...
Answer's point to no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of, like, getting married,
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it on my channel
Yeah.
before, like, I'm not really, like, I don't really know that I need, like, a government body defining, like, the relationship that I have with Noel, and I just, like, don't know that it's...
I feel like we're very fortunate that we were pretty much on the same page, like,
Yeah.
from the get-go. Even before, like, I think, like, very early on, like, when we started dating, we were pretty much on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
It's not that it wouldn't happen, it's just that it's not, like, important to us to, like, feel the need to do that.
Right.
And TBH, like, that costs money. Like...
Yeah, we could spend that money on
a
other shit.
Dyson vacuum.
Okay. Right, that's what we will spend that money. You know, that's also how much weddings cost these days, the price of a Dyson vacuum. What is your favorite TV show to watch together? I mean, we have so many.
Yeah, I have a lot.
I would say during the pandemic, the primary one was Ozark, but
yeah.
not limited to that. Like,
No. I think Ozark was, like, at least recently, that was, like, the show that we, like, every weekend, like, we weren't like, oh, you ready to watch the next Ozark? But, like, Saturday morning, we wake up, we're like,
have
coffee,
maybe some breakfast.
Yeah, and then, like, the
and
next
watch
thing was
Ozark.
Ozark.
Yeah.
Great show. I mean, super fucked up, but great television.
I mean, to be quite honest, that's, like, the only serious show I'm trying to watch right now.
Right.
Outside of that, I would say, like, most of the shows we watch together are pretty, like, happy-go-lucky. Like, Schitt's Creek, Drag Race, Legendary, High School Musical, the series.
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah. That was also... Mandalorian. High School Musical, I can say, like, this applies to it, but Mandalorian, that meant a lot that you watched with me, because I don't know if Zach has said this on his channel, but Star Wars. I mean, okay, I'm not about to get into Star Wars. Oh yeah, I'm not about to get into Star Wars conversations with anybody because I hate talking about Star Wars with other people. But, like, it means a lot to me. It's what inspired me to do what I do with my life. Are they great movies? Who's to say? But I enjoy them a lot. They mean a lot to me. And Mandalorian was, like, kind of like the first. It's the first live action Star Wars television show ever, and it's, like, objectively very good.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, Zach, I could share it with Zach, and he also liked it was really cool.
I try to strike a balance and, like, watching some things just because Noel wants to watch them, even if I'm not sure if I'll be interested. But I really did like The Mandalorian. I mean, I've watched now all but 2 of the prequels of the Star Wars everything. And I've also watched a lot of Marvel because of Noel, because I know that these things are all important to him.
Right.
So I try to strike a balance, because there's also, like, a lot of stuff of mine that, like, he would not watch with me. So, and there's some things that he's, like, been like, okay, yeah, we can watch that. Like, I think, like, at first, like, Drag Race was like that. You were like, okay, like, this is something you care about. Let's watch it.
But I do also legitimately enjoy it. So, yeah.
The next question is, what are both of your favorite Gaga songs, if Noel's a fan, of course?
Yes.
I'll let you start.
I wouldn't call myself a fan. Not that I don't like her music. I just, like, never... the last time I really, like, went out of my way to listen to her music was, like, Fame Monster, Telephone, that era. And then I really wasn't into her for a while, and then, you know, Chromatica came out recently, and I really enjoyed that. Particularly the features. I was really into fun fact. I was super into K-pop in high school, and I revisited it now in the pandemic, and I'm like back in it because Blackpink was featured on Lady Gaga's album, and I'm like, oh my god, this is my moment to get Zach into K-pop. Another thing that I don't know if Zach has mentioned, but I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan. Loved her since the first album. I would listen to Yours Truly on the Brown Line on the way to DePaul when I went there. So like her music means a lot to me. I will like consume anything Ariana Grande does and sings. Love it. So when Rain on Me came out, that was like our worlds colliding. That was great. So I think it would maybe be Rain on Me, but since that's like a huge song now, I would say Judas is my favorite song. That's a bop. Like,
I mean,
especially that dance break. Like,
it is.
When you have that like that dance bridge break, whatever it is. Ugh, gets me going every single time. Yeah.
And I am a big Lady Gaga fan, big Lady Gaga fan, and truly like the song that like solidified it. I mean, I loved The Fame. It's a great album, great intro album to introduce Lady Gaga to the masses. But what really sold her on me was Bad Romance. So it's hard to not say that that's a number one because the song is iconic, the music video iconic. It was peak rah rah bitch. Okay, like peak.
True.
And
like everybody, like your grandma knows that song.
Right, love it.
Everybody knows that song.
Love it. Yeah. But I also am like a big fan of like twangy Gaga, so I really loved You and I. I really loved Gypsy from the less critically acclaimed album Art Pop. I loved the Joanne album, like I probably more than most people. Like it's a very unpopular opinion amongst the Lady Gaga fans. So I don't know, but I also big fan of Chromatica. Like I think like what a great reintroduction off of Chromatica. My favorite songs are either probably Sour Candy or Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon's a good one.
Babylon's great.
Yeah. That's gossip.
That's gossip.
Yeah.
So how was the conversation about moving in together? Have either of you lived with a partner before? Is there any grief about losing your own space? And I would say, I mean, we've been talking about this for
a few years now.
I would say a couple. Like we talked about it whenever I moved into here. The year leading up to that, we had talked about moving in.
Yeah, because like when Zach moved into the space, we found this apartment for him, knowing that I would like move in and live in the apartment too. So yeah, back when he lived in his other space, not the brick wall. Yeah, we were already having those conversations, and getting this apartment was very much like an intention that I'd live here, so it was important that that I'd like feel at home here too. So,
right. Yeah.
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 And I also like lived 2 blocks away already, so I was like, wow, this is perfect. Like we don't need to travel across the city to see each other. So.
Right. And I think like in general, I really value. I mean, I've said on my channel before that like once upon a time I was an RA. I worked in residence life on a college campus. So like when it comes to living situations, I really value like having an open dialogue and communication about what our expectations are and things like that. So it is tough for me because like it's probably been 10 years since I lived with somebody else. Like I truly have lived alone for a long time now. But I think we've done a good job of like setting boundaries. Like I think we've been thus far very respectful of like giving each other individual time. We have like designated workspaces for our 9-to-5 jobs where, you know, like when we're working, we don't actually interact that much throughout the day. Like we'll say hi when we go to make lunch and things like that, but for the most part we have some good boundaries, and boundaries are healthy. So y'all need to just have those communications.
You kind of like a lot of space. So.
Right. How are you both handling the violence and chaos in and around your area? I realize Chicago encompasses a large area, but I always think of you two when I hear of more violence and destruction.
Okay, so I picked this question because I thought it was pretty spicy and like I think relevant because you've been mentioning it in your videos.
Sure.
I mean, this is also something that matters. I mean, I'm sure it does to you, but I don't want to speak on your behalf. But It means a lot to me. Thank you to whoever asked this question. I mean, I've lived in Chicago consistently for the past 4 years now, but it's been on and off pretty much a decade. And I've lived literally everywhere in Chicago, from the tip of the north side to the tip of the south side to the suburbs, anywhere and everywhere. I also used to Uber, so I know the city pretty well, geographically. Yeah, with that, thank you for your concern, but we're first off, we're fine. We've always been fine. The reality is, Zach is white, and I'm a very light-skinned person of color, so there's a lot of privileges that we experience that a lot of other folks don't in Chicago. And I mean, Chicago's a really segregated, racist city, and this is not a secret. It's just really important for us to use our privileges to uplift the folks that are fighting for social justice in Chicago. And yeah, you may hear about violence and destruction, but it's really only happening downtown, and honestly those places will be okay, and honestly they are already. Yeah, we're fine, and we probably will be fine. I mean, if we weren't, you'd probably know about it, because if you follow Zach on whatever social media. But yeah,
I think the only thing I would add is just to one, that I do appreciate that people are concerned about my well-being, Noel's well-being, Judy's well-being. So I appreciate that. I think one thing to keep in mind when it comes to an outsider's perspective on what's happening in Chicago is that the stories that people outside of Chicago hear about Chicago, are very rarely stories that are being told by people from Chicago who have these lived experiences, right? And so
they're sometimes even told by people that literally live in the Chicago suburbs, but not in the city.
So I guess my point is to say just make sure to my point is just to make sure to seek out those voices. If you want to know what's happening, find people who are writing for, unless you live in Chicago, you might not know personally people that are here, but go on social media and look for accounts of folks, particularly Black and brown folks, who have experienced living in Chicago their whole lives and who can speak to what's going on here better than probably even myself and Noel. I think the reality is violence happens in a lot of major U.S. cities, regardless of where they are. And I think that Chicago is often weaponized politically by different folks and people, and I think it often takes away from the actual lived experiences of the people of Chicago. So I would just encourage you to look for these people, follow them on social media. I'm sure there are journalists from Chicago that are writing about their experiences, and if news is how you access those things. So just be thoughtful, critical about what you're consuming.
And honestly, as a person of color who has a lot of social proximity to a lot of Black and brown folks, the violence and destruction you're hearing is usually because of the failure of Chicago's governing body to provide resources for the people that live here. So yeah, and that's all I have to say on that, at least for now.
Okay, and then the last question is about Judy and or just pets in general. Does Noel have pets, and would you want to get more animals? Does Judy like Noel? How is Judy adjusting to having a stepfather? That's a lot, so I'm going to just let you unpack those things while Judy and I hang out.
Right, yeah. Well, first off, I am not Judy's stepfather. I am her father. When Zach expressed interest about getting a dog, we were already together.
Also, stepfather's so weird because that suggests that she had another dad prior to, but literally, Noel and I have been dating longer than I've had Judy. So.
Right, yeah, and us getting Judy, I was very much involved in the process because I'm allergic to dogs, actually. Not to say that living with Judy has made my allergies terrible, but there was a short break-in period where I freaked out because I was we did all this research on dogs that are quote-unquote hyperallergenic. Technically, dogs aren't hypoallergenic. Dogs with hair, like Judy, Shih Tzus, they tend to be more friendly to folks with severe allergies like myself. So when we were looking for a dog, like we had like a really small pool of dogs to look at, because we had to find dogs that are potentially okay with folks with allergies, and have those dogs also be rescues, which is it's a very slim pool of dogs you can find. But when we found Judy, it was perfect. We already knew. That was actually the first time I ever felt love at first sight. Like, I looked at her and I looked at Zach, and I'm like, I think she's the one.
This
We just knew.
This is it.
Which was wild, because I don't believe in this stuff. But we knew.
Yeah, and we would like to get another dog eventually, sometime soon.
Right. I used to something I hope to do in the near future is start aquascaping again. I'm a huge fan of fish because I didn't get to have dogs growing up, because actually my whole family was allergic to pets, both cats and dogs. So yeah, getting fish was like the alternative. And I really enjoyed doing that. But yeah, I mean, now that I'm here living with Zach, we're hoping to get another dog. That's also been a part of the conversation. So yeah, nothing is ever, when it comes to life things, like, nothing is really ever spontaneous. Like, Zach and I would say, like, we're really good at communicating that stuff and figuring out what we both need and how to respect that decision and come to like a conclusion based on what we both need.
Yeah.
So
well, great. That's all we got for today. This video is already extremely long, so I don't want to make it go any longer, but if you enjoyed this video and it's your first time, make sure to subscribe down below. Also check and make sure you're just subscribed in general, because YouTube is out here unsubscribing people from people's channels. Make sure to hit the bell button so you get a notification. As always, make sure to live, laugh, love, like, comment, and share this video, and follow me on all of my social media. We had so much fun, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.